Hello, here's what you missed for Monday, November 12th, 2012. Happy Monday! Please remember your correct seating chart. Even in lab, we want students to be responsible following our rules, so make sure you are in your proper seating. We are currently working on the writing unit, so our I can statement for today is I can brainstorm and begin pre-writing by using a graphic organizer or organizers to gather and collect my thoughts. At this point, most people have completed sides 1 and 2 of the graphic organizer, so you should be moving on to the second standard, which states, I can statement number 2. Using the pre-write, I can organize my thoughts and create a first draft response to the writing prompt. Today's agenda. First, we're going to have a vocabulary quick check for our PSAT, SAT, and ACT vocabulary list number 5. Do not forget that tomorrow you have a vocabulary test. The second thing we're going to do, which is a continuation from last week, is research skills. We've got the research process, and we've been working on the statement of controlling purpose assignment. First, we're asking you to complete the first draft of your 5-paragraph essay. You should be around paragraph 3. You've given us your introduction, you've given us a strong title, you've got paragraphs 1 and 2, which you should have completed on Friday. Over the weekend, you should have been continuing to work on this. So now we're expecting by the end of this session today, you've completed your first draft. Again, this is due this coming Friday. Also, for today, really check and review for those purple words. Make sure you're using 11th grade quality vocabulary. Make sure you're not having any issues with your vocabulary, such as homophone and homonyms issues. Definitely look to see that what you are saying is what you're meaning to say. As always, and this is something that is very important, you need to save your document in the following locations. 1. Your G drive. This is important. You need to be able to access your documents at all times in this building. Number 2. Your flash drive. You need to have a flash drive just for this course where you can save all your documents. Number 3. The course Moodle page. This should be tab 5 by the class. So you should be good to go when you are asked to update and edit your work because you have saved it in a number of places. If you happen to save it into your G drive, then that's fine to your C drive at home, that's fine as well. But we need to make sure that you're able to access your information here, meaning through the G drive, your flash drive, and the course Moodle page. Now let's continue. Statement controlling purpose. By now you should have this copy, and you should have it with your collection of materials for this unit. We've talked about this a couple times now during a couple of class sessions. We have really broken this assignment down. We've highlighted using our highlighting during the highlighting session, so we should be good to go. But let's do a brief overview. Statement controlling purpose. This is your purpose and plan. You've got 5 paragraphs where you're going to tell the English 11 PLC team exactly what you're going to accomplish during this particular project. It is the step prior to generating your thesis in your thesis paragraph. It is telling us how you plan on accomplishing this project, this paper. We don't expect that you've gotten that far into your research. This is just the general plan. You are allowed to use informal writing when generating your statement of controlling purpose. That means you're allowed to say I, me, my, etc. Guidelines. Let's scroll down here a little bit. This is your academic research plan for gathering research, so the focus is on explaining what steps you're going to take in gathering and synthesizing, which means organizing your information. We covered and finished that Discovery Language Arts video, so this should remind you what steps they discussed and explained to you that should be taking in obtaining and synthesizing information. So if you're confused, if you need further clarification, please refer back to your Discovery Language Arts notes. This assignment is a minimum of 5 paragraphs and should include the following. Your introductory paragraph. This restates the prompt and will introduce the reader to the topic selection. In this paragraph, you're asked to explain why you have chosen this specific topic. Did you choose this career because you think it's going to make you a lot of money, or it's something that's a personal interest to you? It assists you in matching your skill sets. Why did you choose this topic? For paragraphs 2, 3, and 4, you're going to explain how you plan on gathering information for the following topics. Your subtopics are history and evolution, issues pertaining to your career, that's the social, political, and cultural issues, the future projection of your career, and the service learning aspects. You will need to explain what specific things you plan on doing to gather and synthesize your information. So, will you job shadow and conduct a face-to-face interview? Will you go to the local library or bookstore to obtain books on this career? Are you going to go and look for periodicals and journals on this topic from the media center, from a library? Are you planning on networking with those experts in your field for informal mentorships, etc.? Be specific. The expectation is that you use a variety of methods in which to gather and organize your notes. For paragraph 5, conclude by writing what you feel is the most difficult aspect of the research process and how you plan on overcoming these obstacles. This is you being a reflective reader, reflective writer, reflective researcher. So, do you think it's going to be hard for you to find those experts in your field of study? Organizing and synthesizing the material, meeting and adhering to deadlines. For whatever issue you think you might have, give us your plan of attack on how you plan on overcoming that obstacle. Thus, again, overall, basically this is your action plan. This is how you plan on addressing this particular project, what you plan on doing research-wise in order to gather the necessary information. For a quick review of the sample, this is my sample of your statement of controlling purpose. So if I were writing this particular piece, this could be what I would choose. So if I'm choosing the topic of teaching, this is going to be how your framework should look. This is your proper heading, so make sure you are abiding by the English 11 PLC's guidelines for proper heading. First and last name of the student, followed by your English 11 course, and this number right here is your section number, so this would represent period 6. Make sure you indicate which correct period you're in. Your instructor's name is followed, and then the actual title of the specific assignment. Next, you have your title of your specific statement of controlling purpose. It's not just called statement of controlling purpose, so you need to come up with a unique title. Remember, for paragraph 1, it was specifically asking you to introduce us to your topic. So, if this were a topic in careers, then you would say that you're introducing your reader to the topic of teaching career, and you are restating that prompt, which said you're analyzing, investigating, and researching this specific title. So I have initially told my reader that I'm investigating teaching, and this is how I plan on doing that. So I've restated that prompt. I've also asked you, and the English 11 PLC has asked you to tell us why you are going to investigate that. So this particular part here is us telling you what makes this career great. Why have you chosen this career? So for the sample, you're telling us why you decided. What has made me decide to investigate this career is because it matches my interests and personal hobbies and skill. Continued on, and this will be a little bit more information saying that also there are people in my family who are teachers who further have inspired me. The next part, as you see, tells you a little bit more about the prompt itself. So you're restating that prompt, considering all aspects of it. So through the investigation, you plan on using the data for the history and evolution, for the issues, for the future projection, and service learning, such as fundraisers, charitable organizations, and scholarships. Don't assume that your reader is going to be one of your English 11 PLC teams. You need to be very thorough in your introduction, telling your specific reader what your topic is, why you've chosen that topic, how you think you're going to be successful in accomplishing that, meaning why it's going to match what you'd like to work on. The next few paragraphs, notice that with paragraphs 2, I start on to the next part. I start telling the reader specifically about how I'm going to investigate the history and evolution of the career. So I am very detailed. I specifically say which libraries I'm going to go to, which local libraries, maybe collegiate libraries, bookstores. So use specifics in this. Use and don't assume we know what you're talking about. If you're going to the media center, that's a different location than if you're going to Barnes & Noble, or if you're going to Half Price Books, or if you're going to an IUPUI library and their data source. So be specific. If you know specific names, such as the librarian Mrs. Lucas, then mention her by name. Paragraph 3 moves you on to future projection, and this is where I've stopped here. Future projection, you're doing the exact same thing. Tell your reader why you are going to specifically, or how you specifically are going to find the information on future projection. Is it through recent newspaper articles? Is it through phone interview experiences? Using your Ask the Expert information. Periodicals and journals are going to help you as well. Or is it videos? So don't assume your reader knows exactly how you plan on completing this plan of attack. Definitely tell them specifics. Now that's my paragraphs 1 through 3. You will continue on with paragraphs 4 and 5, following the other frameworks of what we're talking about. And that's what you missed for November 29th, 2000.